So I feel like a lot of times cleat position is treated like this really mystical thing. And it can be difficult for sure, but there's actually, as with many things, there's often a kind of a safe territory or sort of a safe bet as far as the position goes. And cleat position does have a scenario like this. It's simply that erring on the side of having the cleats further back on the shoe is usually a fairly safe bet. It has many fewer downsides. Now, why is this? It primarily has to do with what happens when the cleats go even a little bit too far forward. And this is definitely individual. Some people will need the cleats further back. Some will need them, can tolerate them a tiny bit further forward without problems. It's going to have a lot to do with many other things. I mean, you could have someone with longer toes and they're going to need the cleats further back because that's going to put the metatarsals further back in the shoe, the flexibility of the foot and everything. But just in general, having the cleats further back is a safer option because, again, having them too far forward leads to a number of things. First, when they're further forward, what we're doing is we're actually, because the lever that we're stabilizing from the ankle to where the cleat is, since it's much further forward, is longer. We're stabilizing a longer lever. And so the foot muscles in the foot actually, and then the calf muscles actually have to do more work. That combined with the fact that having the cleat too far forward, in certain aspects of the pedal stroke, can lead to too much toe down posture. Both those things together can create stress to the front of the foot, and it can lead to hot spots, numbness, numb toes, things like that. Now, I always point to two examples of why we would want to err on having the cleats further back. And imagine you're stepping up onto a stair. And would you rather take that stair with just the front of the toes or maybe in front of the balls of the feet touching the stair? Or would you rather go up and down stairs a bunch of times with the middle of your foot in contact with the stair? And obviously most people are going to want the middle of the foot because it's going to be a more stable platform to kind of push down on. I also tell people to think about what we do when we do a shallow squat. If you do this with your weight on your toes, your knees are going to drift in front of your feet, and you're going to feel a lot of the muscular work being done by the quadriceps. However, if you keep the weight back on the midfoot or on the heels, first of all, your hips will go back further. And you'll also notice that the glutes, the rear end muscles, do quite a bit more work. And on the bike, this is really critical. This translates over because when we have the cleats too far forward, we will naturally use the quadriceps a bit more on average, versus when we have them further back. Having the cleats further back can help engage those hip extensors, those glute muscles. And they are really good muscles to initiate on the bike. We often don't use them enough. Now, not everyone is going to need to have the cleats all the way back, as I mentioned. And when you do move them, it's sometimes good to do it in stages because it can feel a little awkward at first when you're moving them back. But especially if you've had, as I mentioned, problems with numb toes, calf issues, hot spots in the feet, calf cramps some people have. And even to some extent, because of how it can change the use of the quadriceps, I have people where we move their cleat position and it actually affects their knee pain. So even if you have knee pain, front of the knee pain, you might want to take a look at your cleat position. Now, one last thing to keep in mind, if you do move the cleats back, you're effectively shortening your leg. So remember, you're going to have to adjust the saddle down a few millimeters as well. I recommend doing this in stages. If your cleats have a lot of adjustment rearward and you want to try it, go a little bit and lower the saddle a little bit. Maybe 2 or 3 millimeter change at the cleat and maybe a couple of millimeters at the saddle. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.